Welcome to the Introvert Sisters, the podcast by introverts for introverts, hosted by Sharon and Lisa, two INFJs with a lot to say.
Hi, I'm Sharon.
And I'm Lisa.
And together,
we're the Introvert Sisters.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. All right, so one introverts uniting separately, sis. So let's unite separately. What's been going on with you?
Well, one of the things that's been happening actually, and it started before Corona times was...
Corona times?
Yes, before Corona times. Because, when the history books are written, well, 2020 is going to be a doozy. But anyway,
right?
Yes, is that, I remember late last year taking a look at a picture of myself and thinking, Sharon, you got to do something about the poundage. And then, of course, being at home all the time. Now, as I work from home anyway, there's always this tendency, you can literally just pop downstairs at any point, head to the fridge or the cupboard and get a snack. And it's something that you really have had to guard against in these times when more people are at home, right? And, part of it, I think, must be a comfort thing because people do comfort eat. And, these have been stressful times.
Right.
So, getting rid of the pandemic pounds has been on my mind. And I have to say it's been working. I joined a group, a sort of like fitness support WhatsApp chat. There's a group of 20 of us, 19 of us. And so we have been working together on health, fitness, and balance goals, really, because it's not just about eating. It's not just about exercise. There's meditation. People share their devotions sometimes if they happen to be on point. So it's a whole holistic approach.
That's really nice. Is it like all girlfriends from school and stuff?
Yeah, it is. And then like in the last few weeks, we've had a challenge, right? A team challenge. We split the group into 3 teams. And so, you can earn points by doing certain exercises or by eating plant-based meals or by logging enough sleep or by, meditating and so on. So it's encouraging us to bring that balance and add some new exercises into our lives, and overall the group has been very successful in helping me to keep things under control. I haven't actually lost any weight in the last little challenge, but my stamina continues to increase. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm trying to stick with the group and continue to take that holistic approach, and that's how I'm tackling the pandemic pounds. What about you?
Well, I at this point I'm sort of on my way back down, having losing some of the pandemic pounds, but I had it happened twice where I put on waist beads, and in one case within half an hour, I guess maybe I had probably relaxed my stomach, pop the whole thing, beads burst. Anyway, so it happened once. It's like, okay, fine, no problem. That happened another time. All right, you need to
bring this thing under control. Wrangle those pandemic pounds, right?
Wrangle the pandemic pounds.
And so what are you doing?
But the thing is, that's one of the reasons why I like wearing waist beads, is that it does, like, literally, well, hopefully you don't actually burst them, but certainly when you feel them getting a bit tighter, that's your signal that you better start getting things under control. Because if you are at home, like we have been, wearing elastic waist pants all the time, it's very easy. You're comfortable. You don't even notice it. You're not even dressing in the same way every morning to go to work, etc. And so you just don't notice. So I have been being more conscious.
Yeah.
I have adjusted portions. I haven't adjusted them down probably as much as I should have, but I have adjusted them down. I have been more on point in terms of taking my supplements and so on, just regular like vitamins and whatever. But and you don't think of taking vitamins as part of weight management or whatever. But if your nutrients
imbalance,
in balance,
Yeah.
That makes a big
I've been
difference.
drinking more smoothies.
Yeah.
As you know, that's something that I do. I do regularly, and sometimes more, sometimes less. So I had a period of less, and now I'm back in a period of more. Let's put it that way.
Basically.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah. You need
and
to.
just minding and managing my portions. I'm vegan, but even being vegan, it's still easy sometimes. You can fall into eating junk. There's a lot of vegan junk food that people don't even realize is out there, but there is a lot of it, right?
Yeah.
And so
It's
just being more responsible.
But even the things that are good for you in moderation, that is the problem. Is that all these things have side effects. Like as a lacto-vegetarian, one of the ways that I can get protein is by eating peanuts. But you go too far down the peanuts road, and then you start gaining pounds. Now it's very difficult because they are moreish. Lightly salted peanuts are like crack, really.
For me, it's cashews, but yeah, same thing.
Yes, but the same thing. I mean, I think they basically have the same effect, and so it's actually easier for me to avoid them if they're not in the house. When they're in the house, I can usually hold out for a couple, maybe even 3 days before I open the tin. But once the tin is open, all bets are off.
That's it.
Yeah,
like you, I have to manage what comes into the house. If I order or buy cashews or whatever the snack of choice is,
they're not going to last.
Once it's in here, they're gone.
They call you. They call you.
They call you, and they call you loudly. They call you frequently, and they don't rest until they have fulfilled their function, which is to satisfy your food, your snack craving. And they just keep calling you. And so my thing is, I can't bring them in the house, huh?
Until they're all gone. They call you until they're gone.
They call you. And so I just, where possible, I'm like, okay, well, maybe you don't get some every week. Maybe you change it to every other week. Maybe you do something like that, Or
you balance it out by eating well in other ways as well, or you try to. So, if you're going to be snacking on the cashews or the peanuts, then don't also be having whatever else is the other thing that's bad for you, or, have an extra smoothie that day or whatever it has.
Right.
It's about balance. It's about balance.
Right.
Life still has to be worth living. You have to have
absolutely.
Sometimes.
You have to have a snack. You have to have a snack. I'm not saying go snack free.
Yes, but
and even with not vegetables so much. I mean, I don't know that you can actually like OD on celery sticks. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you probably can't.
No.
You can, however, have too many grapes.
Yes.
They're very, very sugar filled.
Sugar, like raisins, same thing.
Yeah. Exactly the same thing. Actually.
Exactly the same thing. Good in moderation.
Right.
But if you're, I don't know.
Yeah,
food is a whole other thing. We'll have to have an episode on food at some point.
I realize this because we're just talking about storm. We haven't gotten into the main topic, but anyway, but for which we should. But for me, part of controlling the pandemic pounds is also not being in the office.
Well, yes, true.
Right?
Because
not controlling the pandemic pounds, controlling pounds in general, right? Is not being in the office because again, I have more control over what I allow here into my home, what I buy, what I order, what I purchase, whatever. If you're in the office and it's just like the bottomless snacks, the kitchen is always open. There's every possible name brand cereal, snack,
but
etc.
Even when I worked in an office, because I worked at one point in London. So, once a week, twice a week, someone would say, oh, let's go out for lunch, right? And, you had a Japanese restaurant here, you had a this, you had a that, you had the sandwich bar. I mean, literally there were 10 places. And let me tell you, none of that food was local. Okay?
Right.
None.
Right.
It was delicious. It was varied. It was very satisfying in that sort of way, but, it wasn't necessarily good for the waistline. The only thing that saved me then is that I commuted. So I had to walk to the tube or walk to the bus or walk to the train and a short walk on the other end. But even so, that buying of lunch daily you know.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
That can, yeah, you know, that can put on the pounds.
Right.
Anyway.
Which is another reason why neither one of us is missing the office.
No,
right?
Exactly. And speaking of not missing the office, let us come to our main topic in our world, why introverts are celebrating the death of the open plan office.
Yes.
Okay? Because, you know, we have heard the rumor that some people are missing being in the office. Extroverts, we're looking at you. You know,
I don't get
most
it,
introverts, most introverts are united in not even missing it a little bit.
Yep.
Not even missing it a little bit.
Not even a small bit.
You know, we deplore the reason, but this is one result that has worked well for introverts. Okay.
Agreed.
So
what are your reasons why you are not missing the office?
Yes. Now, I mean, let's just say that, I mean, I'm a freelancer, so I don't have to go into offices very often anymore. But, you know, I put in my time, right? Yeah. And I always hated open plan offices. I find that working from home gives me a better quality of life overall. It gives me more balance in how I arrange my days. Okay. I can fit more things into my schedule. It's much easier to fit in exercise, lunch, so even occasionally, although, you know, I'm pretty disciplined, so I don't usually take a lot of time out of my day to just sit down and read a book. But, you know, the point is that if I'm not busy, I could do it. But, you know, so my day these days, you know, I will get up early. You know, I'm an early riser, and what happens to me is that every day I seem to get up a little bit earlier, which is now getting ridiculous. You know, I'm getting up when it's dark and having to wait for it to get light so I can go out and exercise. And the exercise challenge we were talking about had me doing more exercise. You know, I would be getting up at 5:30 and doing a couple hours of different exercises before actually starting work. Okay. But then I'm, you know, I don't then have to think about how I'm getting to the office. You know, it's literally a minute to walk from one room to another, right? It's nice because, you know, my husband, who also works from home, and I can have lunch together. Right now, our daughter is home, our mother is here as well. So, you know, at least a couple times a week, we'll have lunch together. You know, we'll have breakfast together or whatever it happens to be.
That's nice.
You know? So, you know, it gives the opportunities for those things. Focus is a big one. One of the things I hated in the open plan office is, you know, people would always be popping by your cubicle, you know, or people would be having conversations that would distract you, you know, and I mean, they weren't intending to. It's just that you need more space. And, you know, particularly for introverts who live so much in their own head, you know, who need that thinking time in a way and don't necessarily thrive with the social contact. It's not that extroverts don't think. That's not what I'm saying.
No, not at all. Not at all.
What I'm saying is that the extroverts feed on that social stimulation, and introverts get drained by social stimulation. By it. So when you're in an open plan office, it actually makes you less productive and less focused and less efficient. Okay. Control of my life is a big one. Okay. I can achieve more in less time often, although, you know, of late, I've, you know, as we talked about in the last episode with all the other things I've been focusing on, I'm not sure that I've achieved as much work-wise as I would normally do in a day, but, you know, theoretically at least. And I have, you know, I can take time off if I need to. If I don't have a deadline on a particular day and, you know, I'm not feeling particularly creative, then I can take the time off. And you know, best of all, no office politics. I hate office politics. I've hated it in every office that I've ever worked in. Every has some form of it. I've never liked it. I don't miss it. Right. And you know, I'm not the person that needs somebody looking over my shoulder to do my work. I'm disciplined. So I don't need to be in an open plan office with somebody popping by to see if I'm doing what they assign me to do. Right. Or
that's so annoying.
Tell me I should be doing it a different way. I don't need micromanaging, you know, and that is another big downside of the open plan office. There are micromanagers and naysayers everywhere.
Oh my gosh. I had a boss that would do that foolishness. Yes, yes, and I feel the same way. I mean, I had a boss that used to do that foolishness, assign me something now, and 15 minutes later, she's over, she's sending me an email or over at my cubicle saying, "Oh, and I thought about this, and da, 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 da. Have you finished? And did you?" And
Yeah.
it's like, if you
Give
give
me a
me,
chance.
like, give me a chance, let me
Yes.
do what you actually had me to do. Back
Right.
the F off. But anyway,
So what are your reasons
yeah,
for not missing the open office? Because I know that you don't miss it at all either.
not at all. At all, at all, at all.
Uh,
I have always been a homebody. I don't think I actually realized that because, like, you only know your world and your context and what you grew up with. You don't know that anybody does anything different, right?
yeah.
And so, mommy ran a quiet house. I did not realize this, however. And
Oh,
although I always had a lot of activities, as you know, I
yes.
would go out and do them because that's what I had contracted to do or agreed to do. But then, as soon as I was done, I wasn't out hanging out with anybody else. I was right back home, right? That
Yeah.
was always me.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that that actually meant that I'm a homebody. I was out
Yeah.
doing stuff, but I was only doing stuff because I was supposed to, And so I've always loved being at home. Thank you, mommy, for creating an environment that we enjoyed being in, right? I've always loved being at home. My home is my sanctuary. And so for me, the more time that I can spend at home, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Just generally, I love being at home, and I feel at peace when I'm here, and being at
Important.
peace and feeling settled and grounded is a good foundation from which to be able to create your best work.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Right? You mentioned the no commute, and I agree with that. No commute, no commute. Praise God Almighty, no commute. That's another big one, right?
Yes.
Because the difference is either, you wake up, you do your routine, and then, as you said, 1 minute away is your office. You just walk to your office and you're done. Or, I remember my last commute into the city, and you walk up the hill, take the bus to Journal Square, take the path into New York, and then of course everybody is trying to get into New York. So
Yes.
just literally, you have done that commute with me.
I have
The
done that
battle.
with you.
Remember
Yes.
the battle to get onto the path train?
Yes, yes. And I have done the 100-mile round trip to work too. You know that, you remember that commute that I used to
Yes,
do? So,
yes,
I don't
yes,
miss that.
yes. I don't miss any of it, So, there's that. Or you wake up, you do your routine, like I said, and you peacefully approach the
Yes.
couch, or in your case,
And can I just
you have a room that's an office, and you're done.
Yes, and can I just interject here that part of having the time to exercise in the morning, for me the early morning is a creative time. There are many of those same articles that I've been writing. I've come up with the seeds of the idea. I have come up with the first paragraph while I've been out walking. So having
Oh,
the freedom to
nice.
do that is also important.
That's
Okay, back
amazing.
to
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
back to
yeah.
you.
No, that's great. That's great. Because you often do get a lot of ideas. Ideas need space,
To germinate.
in your brain, within which to slip through.
Yes, absolutely.
I might have over prepositioned there, but you understand what I mean.
Is it what prepositioning a thing?
It is. It is.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
like, wait, which, through, whatever it was.
You know what we mean, people. You know what we mean.
You know what we mean. But yes, they need that space, and that's why you get them, when you're taking a walk or taking a shower, or when your brain is disengaged. That's when the ideas and the genius has time to bubble up, and space to
Absolutely.
bubble up. So that's great. Similar to you, not as many drive-bys.
Mm,
Well, of course, nobody's literally driving by your desk, which is fabulous because nobody's in
yes.
your house. Again, fabulous.
Mhm.
But you can sometimes have last-minute meetings, but even with those, you still do have a little bit of opportunity to prepare,
Yes.
because if you're not there to take the call, you can't take the call, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Or you can tell them, okay, give me 5 minutes and I'll call you, or whatever. So even in a situation where there's a last minute meeting, you do have still a modicum of control. And for me, as you know, I have photophobia and uveitis, so I have extreme sensitivity to light. And so that's since that situation started, working in an office has always been difficult for me because, of course, my eyes prefer the lighting conditions to be dim and soft,
Yes.
and most offices have bright white fluorescent lighting beaming off of bright white desks
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
huge windows with sunlight streaming in, and it's just torture. And so being able to be at home where I can control the light levels and just be more physically comfortable and not have to live on painkillers is immensely helpful.
Oh, it's so good for your overall health as well.
Yes, because
I mean,
I
you know,
used to, I remember
those painkillers can be rough.
they are rough. I know I've torn my stomach out completely, with with Excedrin and other things. But but I had to just to get through the day because the lighting conditions in the office were so hard for my eyes.
Yes.
So it's so much nicer just being at home and being able to control the lighting levels myself.
Absolutely.
Similar to you, it's easier for me to focus and concentrate. That just is what it is.
Yes.
Right. And other wonderful benefits is, I get to stay home and have my puppy dog near me all day.
I'm
And we're
sure
both
he's
so
happy
happy.
too.
Yes,
He's
he
happy
loves
too.
it. He
Yes.
loves it, loves it, loves it. Dogs need their humans, and we humans need our dogs. So it's good to be around him every day and be able to take him out for walkies and and also, not feel guilty for leaving him home all day.
Yes.
Because that's a constant thing as well. It's like you're thinking, oh my gosh, if you leave at 5 minutes and you miss that train, then it's going to take you so much longer to get home, and that's another 45 minutes that he's there alone, and you have all that stress, and you're stressed, he's stressed. He's like, why has my human abandoned me? So at least that situation is solved now.
Oh yes, and of course he's a rescue, isn't he? So
yeah,
he has abandonment issues.
He does.
Yes, poor thing.
Yeah, I can't walk up and down this hallway. Like if I stay too long, he comes and looks for me,
Yes.
And then another big reason why I'm very happy about the work remote and I'm not missing the open plan office. Now, can you imagine the open plan office in the times, as you would call it, in Corona times, right? As far as I'm concerned, we're still in the Corona times.
Yes.
I'm still concerned about coronavirus. I never wanted to be around people. I want to be around people even less. Yeah. And I do not want to be in a cootie-filled office.
No.
I don't want to go there because you have that, I would have that fear and anxiety of, okay, who is sick? Mm-hmm. And that could include yourself. Yes. Right? Because you could have caught it from some other non-mask wearing idiot, but that's another discussion.
That is another discussion.
But
you don't want to pass it on, and you don't want to get it because nobody is anywhere near having an actual solution that is going to keep them safe and alive. And therefore, an open plan office does not make sense in this climate. So, I'm very happy to see so many places saying, oh, well, we'll work remotely for the foreseeable future, or we're going to work shifts and put in some extra cleaning so that we don't have to, so that people can space out, or whatever it happens to be. I'm pleased to see that people are actually handling it.
Some offices have even gone permanently work remote.
Yes, I've seen a couple of announcements about that recently. And I think actually one of them wasn't one of them Slack, and I'm thinking, wait, your word permanently remote all along? That actually surprised me. That they hadn't.
Isn't that like the reason for being for your tool? But whatever.
The raison d'etre for your app.
Exactly. So those are but some of the reasons why we and other introverts around the world are not mourning the death of the open plan office. So we're not mourning the death of the office at all. In fact, we are celebrating that work from home life, that work remote life. We love it. We do. And on that note, I think it's time for us to say goodbye for another episode of the Introvert Sisters. Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Introvert Sisters. Loved what you heard? You can catch all our episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and all other major platforms. subscribe, rate, and write a review. Find us online at theintrovertsisters.com and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Introvert Sisters. See you next time. Peace.